Hear ye, hear ye. My name is Ursela S.O.J.E.S, and I'm here with Robin S.O.J.E.S as well as Dev S.O.J.E.S. I'm so excited for part 2 of our podcast series. Robin, please state your claim before the people.
Hello, Justice Riders. This is podcast number 2 of a 13 episode series. The title is Black Sugar, Not So Sweet. And podcast 2 is going to focus on the role of the
Yeah, that's all good. It's impresarios.
That's how the Spanish
That's how they would say it, right? Impresarios.
Okay, thank you. Impresario. Mm-hmm. So this podcast is going to focus on the role of the impresario and how they brought slavery to Texas by enticing white settlers with free land to bring talented and experienced African-American labor with them to get this free land. So, in other words, they got the 40 acres plus 10. They got 50 acres, y'all. And they probably got a mule. But our people got to work with their mule on their 50 acres for free. And you know that's not even right.
Is that what that hectare, like they got those acres right near the Brazos River? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
That land right there.
It's the entire city of Sugar Land, Stafford, Missouri City, Richmond, Rosenberg, this whole area. They got 50 free acres for coming to what they call Spanish Texas back then.
Wow.
Yes.
So you guys notice how maybe a few years ago when you see like this forest, you're like, oh, the pretty trees. And then when they knock them all down, you're like, I didn't know all that land was back there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like
exactly.
That.
And how come we didn't get any of it for free? We didn't even get 1 acre. Mm-hmm. Now you got to pay.
We did all the work.
$1 zillion just to get a house built on what used to be a plantation.
Oh, my God.
So, Justice Riders, I'm the president of the Society of Justice and Equality for the People of Sugar Land, S.O.J.E.S. And the purpose of S.O.J.E.S is to raise the narrative on convict leasing and to tell the truth about what happened here in Sugar Land, Texas. African Americans cultivated the land, African Americans planted the sugar cane, African Americans cut the sugar cane, and African Americans refined the cane to make sugar, molasses, and rum. They also made the bricks, and they also built houses and buildings and also built the railroads.
Do you mean to tell me that before the white settlers got here in 1821, this area was nothing but plain land?
Exactly, Ursula. There was nothing here at all except for, the Chiricahua Indians and other natives to this land. So if you know, like I know, fertile land is a very important asset because money comes and goes, but fertile land becomes scarce and more valuable as the years grow long. Can you imagine being given rich, fertile, plentiful land near a water body ready for growth? That's what the old 300 settled near the Brazos River, the Colorado River, Oysters Creek, Buffalo Bayou, Trinity River, and the Galveston Bay. And so when you hear Old 300, that means Stephen F. Austin was given 300 leagues to give to families to entice them to come to what was at that time known as Spanish Texas. Listen to this, Justice Riders. What would you do if you were given free land for bringing another person with you who would do all the work for free? Seriously? You can't get better than that, except if you are the another person. In this case, the another person was the African American people. They had the talent, skills, and the work ethic to get the job done with no compensation, no credit. They built the sugar empire in Sugar Land. Without planting and cutting down the sugar cane, there would have been no Imperial Sugar Company. So where are their names? Where is the information that educates the public about the role of the African American people in Sugar Land, and Stafford, and Missouri City, and Richmond, and Rosenberg? Justice Riders. That is why we are having this podcast, to educate, honor, and heal. We're not good as Americans about teaching uncomfortable history, about slavery, lynching, and in this case, convict leasing, which, by the way, was worse than slavery. We as Americans don't want to confront that history, but we can't fix what we haven't faced. Facing our history means the story must be told in curricular materials, lectures, movies, and podcasts.
Yes, Robin, you are so right. We need the truth to be told. We need to understand the root of hatred, oppression, and evil in order to learn from our past so that we will never repeat it again. So I want to ask you again. You've mentioned it once. Stephen F. Austin, Sam Williams, and many others who came here from 1821 to 1825. Where are the names of the folks that they brought with them that did the work on the land? Anywhere. I mean, are they appearing anywhere? And where can we see that?
Deb, it's nowhere. That's why soldiers put together this podcast series. Many records tell you how many enslaved people came with this family or that family. There are no names. As you know, there were 443 African Americans who were brought to Texas with the old 300 white settlers. They not only didn't get 40 acres in the mule, they were used as an incentive to entice white Americans to leave their homestead and travel to Texas as part of the Austin Colony Project. Stephen F. Austin was given 2 years to colonize this land now known as Texas as part of the first grant that he was given from Mexico. 2 years to transform this wilderness land into a place where people will want to come to live. Austin was selected as one of the
Impresarios. He's an
impresarios,
impresario.
which was a person who was given a responsibility to colonize a given amount of land. There were several others like him, but Stephen F. Austin is the most famous.
And we certainly see so many things named for him in this area, do we not?
Exactly.
Indeed, we do. So, did he only receive one grant, and was that used to bring the old 300 or the 297 families to Texas?
No, Ursula. He was given 4 additional grants to bring about 2,000 additional families to Texas. This land eventually became known as the largest sugar producing area in America, not just Texas. All because of the hard work of the African American people. Like I said earlier, Stephen F. Austin couldn't have done that without the talent, expertise, hard work, intuition, and work ethic of the African American people. Yet when you read the history books of who built Texas, there's no reference to their names or family history or where they were born, where they were from, the names of their children, what religion they were, or anything positive for that matter.
I just find all of that kind of funny, don't you, Deb?
Well, yeah, I'm just, once again, we've got streets, schools, buildings, all kinds of things named in honor of Stephen F. Austin and those families that he brought, and they're given all this glory.
Yes.
They're held up as the beacons of
Society,
brilliance.
yes.
Yeah, like they were really gung ho, and they forged this land, but they didn't do it.
No, they did not.
What you're saying is they were just kind of here and given this land. And we, African American people, did the hard work to make this place what it is.
Yes.
And there is no record of it. Even to this day, you go to the museums around us, do we get any kind of recognition?
There is no recognition in any of the museums around us. What we do have recognition is of other states, possibly, or anything else to do with minimal amount of African American history, but there's absolutely none of what has happened in Fort Bend County.
And that is so true. And that's why Ursula, Deb, and Justice Writers, that's why S.O.J.E.S initiated this podcast series called Black Sugar Not So Sweet. Because the word history is exactly that, his story. Well, this is our story. And like the saying goes, until the lion learns how to write, every story will glorify the hunter. And what that means is that the story is never complete until we hear from all sides.
On that note, let's take a break and give our listeners a chance to become more involved with us. Justice Writers, again, I'm Deborah McGoy. I'm Vice President of S.O.J.E.S. And as Ursula mentioned, we are delighted to have you with us throughout this podcast series. Now, here's what we'd like for you to do. First, go to our website, sojesjustice.org. There you'll find the things that we are involved in and the events that we're having to bring some truth, justice to the folks who built this area. We have a motto: educate, honor, heal. These three words are what we live by. And if you go to our website, sojesjustice.org, you'll learn more about that. We also have social media. Connect with us via Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, hashtag #SoJustJustice. You know how to find us. And be sure to make, if you can, a small donation, $5, $10, $2. Any amount is good. Any is plenty. We are trying to build a traveling exhibit to bring more attention and credit to those who really built this area. Help us reach that goal and donate to S.O.J.E.S this day. So back to you, Robin. Let's continue on.
Yes, Deb, thank you so much for that. Because we are determined for the African American people to not be portrayed as the losers in this part of the story of American history. As you know, any of the work that was done, not just in Texas, but any place in the United States, it's hard to find the contributions and the positive skills and talents that we had. Slavery, convict leasing, mass incarceration, redlining, Jim Crow, black laws, all those things were in place to discourage us and to make sure that we are not seen as being credible. But please know that sugar is a chemical compound, and any work that the African American people did, they had the skill to be able to refine that particular chemical into products, as I stated, sugar, molasses. We, as African American people, we have to always make sure that we communicate our side of history. We built our own churches, our own businesses, colleges, universities, and now with social media, we can tell our stories. Critical race theory has no place here. And like the saying goes, the pen is mightier than the sword. And it's up to each of us to tell the truth about what happened to build America into the most powerful country in the world. So let's find out who was here first and why Stephen F. Austin should not have been given all the credit as the father of Texas. First of all, the land we now know as Texas first belonged to Spain. And believe it or not, 300 years before Stephen F. Austin arrived in 1517, there was other people from Spain and other countries that laid claim to this land. There was a war between Spain and Mexico from September 1810 to September 27, 1821. 11 years, and Mexico finally declared its independence from Spain after the Mexican War of Independence.
So this was an 11-year war? This went on 11 straight years?
No, Deb. This 11-year war was not a single coherent event, but on and off during that period of time. Therefore, it was not until 1822 that Mexico declared its independence from Spain, much like the United States declared its independence from England. But even with this new independence, the lands of Mexico were still owned by wealthy foreigners, the Mexican upper class, and the church. Now, please know that there were 7 other towns populated before Stephen F. Austin got here and began giving out what amounted to 297 land grants to families from the southern states, as well as to people who lived outside the United States.
Wow. So this wasn't his first colony, as as we know so well in this area. This was not first colony. That's first of all, that's right there. Let's stop.
Let's stop.
That's a stop.
right
period.
Don't
First
be, Don't
colony.
be putting that word first, because you were not here first.
Dang.
Like I said, there were 7 other towns here hundreds of years before Moses and Stephen F. Austin got here.
See,
there
it's-
were Presidio, how do you pronounce it?
Presidio,
Presidio,
Yaslita, Nacogdoches, St. Augustine, San Antonio, Waterloo, which was renamed Austin, and Goliad. What?
yes. So just know that all these towns were here before he got here.
So it's, they don't count history until like he arrived. Isn't that
Exactly.
interesting? It's like
They act
nothing
like-
happened before. we
Exactly.
got here.
No, they swear that African Americans had no history before they came.
Yeah, but there were battles like the one that happened in San Antonio at the Alamo, and then it was that one at Goliad.
Goliad is another small town in Texas that has a long history dating back to the Spanish colonies. Right?
That's right, Ursula. That town of Goliad was established in 1749. I mean, Stephen F. Austin didn't get here to 1821.
Oh man.
He probably wasn't even born then. 1749. This way before him. Way before him. So
is
just know
ridiculous
that
history.
United
So it's like they're counting the history from the moment that they started their exploits. It's from
Exactly.
that moment that they started their exploits.
Right.
And Moses Austin, no disrespect to him, his father, but he had a lead business up there in Missouri. Matter of fact, he even worked in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. And during the war, 1812, that's when his whole business went down.
Okay.
He was broke as a church mouse. And that's why he said, I need to just make my way all the way over to San Antonio to see if I could get that import-export business back so I can get those land grants so that I can get, for every 100 families that he brought here, he got X amount of acres. Stephen F. Austin ended up with 22 leagues. Each league was 4,428 acres. He ended up with 96,000 acres of land for free. So it was all about the money. But in order to do the work, he needed the skill and the talent of the African American people.
Man, oh man.
So, Justice Riders, we're going to end on this note that you have to know the importance of the contribution of the African American people to the city of Sugar Land, city of Stafford, Missouri City, Richmond, Rosenberg, and all the rest of Fort Bend County. Because without us being able to plant and cut down that sugar cane, there would have never been a sugar industry, which ended up being the largest in the United States of America.
That is so important to know. Golly, Robin, that's great research.
Great research. I mean, sugar is very important to us all, and it's so addictive.
Yeah, it
so
is.
it's so like crazy, right?
Yes.
That's a lot of money to make.
I'm just, it's so disappointing. I mean, 22 leagues. You know how many thousands of acres? I mean,
That's
you
a
do the
lot
math.
of land.
And these people are generationally wealthy.
Yes, they are.
Generation.
And what did we
Generationally
get? What
wealthy.
did our people get?
Where's
Did we even get a dollar?
We have been generationally sabotaged.
We got black codes.
We got black codes. So,
We got black codes.
So if you stole a $10 pig, you had did 5 years hard labor.
That's right.
But the white murderers was in Huntsville prison in air condition.
That's horrible.
We out there in the heat.
Man. All right.
That's chattel slavery. That's the extension of chattel slavery. Thank you guys. This has been another great episode of Black Sugar. No, it's not that sweet. We will see you guys at the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Tell a friend.